A local news station has uncovered video of Cambridge Analytica employees talking about how they've been using less than savory methods to influence elections and politicians. Now, this video, again, this is a local news channel. I can't show you the video because it's local news, because of copyright issues, but I do want to read some of it to you. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, Cambridge Analytica is that big firm that is in a little bit of trouble for basically going in and illegally taking information of 50 million Facebook accounts and creating psychological profiles. So basically, the gist of what they did is they were able to go through and they lied to Facebook and said, oh, no, we're just doing research. So we're going to go in, we're going to take some of these voluntary, because some people voluntarily signed up to do a psychological profile. But some of the people who did not sign up for that were these people's friends and family members who also had their information taken by Cambridge Analytica. And so they used all this information to create these psychological profiles of potential voters and gave that information to the Trump campaign. They used it to try and basically get people to get targeted by ads and things like that to make them more likely to vote for President Trump. Interesting. Now, what impact did it have? Well, I mean, you could look and say, well, Donald Trump's president, so obviously it seemed to have some sort of impact. But I think it's arguable how much impact this actually had. I think the more concerning part about this is the fact that they actually took this data without people's permission. It's basically, to me, it sounds like a breach or a theft of data from people on Facebook. So now in response, you got a lot of people that are leaving Facebook because, look, your data is not secure. Oh, I would argue that our data was never secure on Facebook. That's what happens when you use a giant corporation. Now, getting back to what this video found of these Cambridge Analytica employees, well, they were caught on tape talking about ways that they could entrap politicians in compromising situations. They used things like bribery and hiring Ukrainian sex workers. How oddly specific, considering, of course, some people in the Trump campaign, for example, having some alleged ties with Russia and even Ukraine and some of the billionaires. But anyway, now, the company's chief executive, Alexander Nix, said the British firm secretly campaigns in elections across the world. Now, this includes operating through a web of shadowy front companies or by using sub-contractors. In one exchange, when asked about digging up material on political opponents, Mr. Nix said that they could, quote, send some girls around to the candidate's house, adding that Ukrainian girls are very beautiful. I find that works very well. Fascinating. Especially when you're talking about politicians, right? Sending some, Eastern European women over to certain politicians. Hey, do I know any politicians that happen to be into Eastern European women? Maybe. I could be the president of the United States. Anyway, in another, he said, quote, we'll offer a large amount of money to the candidate to finance his campaign in exchange for land for assistance. Or land, for instance. Sorry. We'll have the whole thing recorded. We'll blank out the face of our guy, and we'll post it on the internet. Now, that is problematic, because again, that is bribery. Offering bribes to public officials happens to be illegal under both UK and US law. Now, Cambridge Analytica is a UK company, but it also operates in the United States. Now, these emissions were filmed at a series of meetings at London hotels over 4 months, between November 2017 and November 2018. An undercover reporter for Channel 4 News posed as a fixer for a wealthy client, hoping to get candidates elected in Sri Lanka. Mr. Nix told our reporter, quote, "We're used to operating through different vehicles in the shadows, and I look forward to building a very long-term and secretive relationship with you." That would be, of course, the reporter. And look, I'll have the link to the report in the description of this video if you want to watch it, which is highly recommended. Now, along with Mr. Nix, the meetings also included Mark Turnbull, the managing director of CA Political Global, and the company's chief data officer, Dr. Alex Taylor. Now, Mr. Turnbull described how, having obtained damaging material on opponents, Cambridge Analytica could discreetly push it onto social media and the internet. He said, quote, "We just put information into the bloodstream of the internet and then watch it grow. Give it a little push every now and then, like a remote control. It has to happen without anyone thinking. That's propaganda. Because the moment you think that's propaganda, the next question is, who's put that out?" So, now that's fascinating, right? So yes, opposition research, that's something that a lot of these companies do. And that's what Analytica is actually claiming. Like, no, what we're doing, we just did opposition research. Well, I think there should be, there might be a fine line between what they're doing, obviously bribery and things like that, and opposition research. But anyway, can you think of any sort of situation where unflattering information has been dug up and slowly released into the internet bloodstream? I could think of a couple of examples. Now, Mr. Nix also said, quote, "Many of our clients don't want to be seen working with a foreign company, so we often set up, if we are working, then we can set up fake IDs and websites. We could be students doing research projects attached to a university. We can be tourists. There's so many options we can look at. I have lots of experience in this." So that's important because in the case of Facebook, that's what they did. They're like, "Oh, no, don't worry about it. We're just doing research. We're not going to sell this to a political campaign. We're not going to do anything like that. We're just doing research. We're just doing these psychological profiles of possible American voters." Turns out, again, that's not correct. They used that situation for the Trump campaign to try and target Trump voters. And not only that, but setting up these psychological profiles, they knew what kind of buttons would push you, what kind of biases you already have. That would be very, very invaluable to any sort of political campaign. Oh, man, we know exactly what to say, what kind of ads to run to target these specific people, rile them up, and get them out to the polls. Again, that is incredibly valuable for any kind of political campaign. So, look, I don't know if all of what they did, like the general doing research and, you know, going and gathering information and selling it to a political campaign, I don't know if that part's illegal, but there's certainly some things in this. The bribery, the Ukrainian girls and things like that, that's wildly illegal. And look, even the stealing the information of people from Facebook, that definitely, I think, should run afoul of the law. Because you can't just go and steal people's information. No, if you want people's information, you have to be like Facebook and just allow people to give it to them. But look, nonetheless, it's pretty disastrous for Cambridge Analytica. This company they're in a world of trouble, not just in the U.S. obviously, but in the U.K. as well. So we're gonna see a lot of them going forward into the future because this is not gonna go away for them. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.